Hello everyone, welcome back. So we have our now we have since we have all the speakers here with us, we had the inauguration ceremony of the Institutional Innovation Council. So I would like to request our director, Dr. A.C. Mishra, first to address the crowd. Okay. So I would like to request all the speakers to please come and sit on the dais. Dr. Mukul Deshpande, Dr. Mudda Negi, and Mr. Vikas Anand. Dr. Hegde.
ऐसे मौके पर मिलते हैं आप बैठे में बाकी फोटो चाहिए
Thank you, everyone. So I'll just briefly introduce the Institutional Innovation Council. So this is program that has been launched by the Ministry of Education along with the Ministry of Education Innovation Council. This started in 2018. We have our first event at IIC-IRSHA. So basically, this program is designed to systematically foster the culture of innovation and startup ecosystem with higher educational institutes. And the primary role is to engage faculty, students, and scientists for various innovation and entrepreneurship related activities. And today we will have this journey of discovery, innovation, and learning. So I will now request our director, Dr. A.C. Mishra, to address the crowd.
First of all, I'm really grateful to the speakers and the guests
who are the really key people who makes a difference. We all keep meeting here and there, but the question is that the today's first session morning from Dr. Deshpande was very, very inspiring, and I am hopeful that further lectures which are planned for the day will be equally inspiring or more inspiring. So just because I should say a few words, the, this count, she has already introduced that why this activity has been started. Like UGC, Government of India, and everyone is giving lot of emphasis to research and innovation. Actually, it is not a new thing as part of university. Universities are supposed to be equally involved in the teaching and the research. But research always remained in background. But suddenly, new education policy has been introduced, which will have far-reaching impact, and it's a very impactful document. I don't know how much it will get implemented, but the document is very impactful. So document emphasizes that research should be the primary objective and teaching should go to secondary. That is the kind of change which is in research into that. And then I think rightly so, because teaching, classical teaching is losing its teach. For example, systems like YouTube and so many other systems are there, online teaching. But slowly they are going slowly, but sometimes it may become drastically they are going to replace this institution. Even when students are sitting in the class, they are not listening to the lecturer. They are thinking that YouTube has a better option on this and evening I can open. Someday it can become disruptive. Someday the whole education system can change differently. That has been perceived, I think, by the policy. That how we have to change if we have to survive as universities. So change, more drastic change is expected in the research and innovations. So really we are forced at this stage is something which was already expected. What is so new that we have to do lot of activities? We have started lot of activities, lot more has to be done. It's a very interesting concept. Like research basically consumes money and produces knowledge. That is what is basically the concept of research in summary. Innovation consumes knowledge and produces money. And when all three are consumed, that it becomes business. And as I was telling in the morning, business and business means there should be profit. Without profit, there is no business. Because the word business itself, the balance sheet ends with the profit. Even if it is loss, you have to show it as a profit minus. That much figure goes into the minus. That means without profit, there is no business. If anybody talks that I'm doing business and I'm not expecting profit, I'm not doing it. So this concept becomes hard for us as students, as teachers to perceive. Because there is hardly any evaluation so far as teaching is concerned. I speak, you listen, whether you get it or don't get it. At the end of the year, some papers are circulated, and that you will see. When we were students, we had less things at our disposal. So we used to pay more attention to the classrooms, making notes, getting back to the teacher, trying to get it corrected, and everybody will have a notebook and copy. When I see my son, he was very reluctant even to make a notebook because he had many guides available and maybe 15 years back. Lot of guides were available Navneet and others. They were not in our time. Look at the Navneet, you are going to get very good mark. Only master the Navneet as much you can. Now, even my grandchildren are studying, they don't want Navneet. On the day of exam, what are you doing? They open the mobile and they find out something and they go to the exam and good number. So mobile is all now, they don't need notebook, they don't need Navneet, they don't need any support. So that term will change because slowly even they don't need teachers. Why they need teachers? So what universities are going to do? So it is for the sake of survival and contribution to the society. Earlier contribution to the society was passing on the existing knowledge. That was the teaching. Now we have to provide the skill because soft skills still have to be learned. And sorry, not really fine. So the roles are changing, and to fit to this role, the role of teachers and role of university are going to change. Just think, there are online exams. For example, GRE, which is the most critical exam to get you for MS in US and other places. You don't need to sit in some place, enroll online, give the exam and get your exam. Same way, sooner or later, if a system comes where centrally somebody starts giving degree, what will happen to the university? Nobody will go to the university. You can take online exam, get the degree, you will not go to the university. Then what will happen to these huge infrastructures? And these are not theoretical. These are going practical questions. And we have to be sensible to address these questions before it is too late. Either you will become meaningless organization exist, or you become meaningful. That is currently hinging on your innovation skill and the researches. And that is why such kind of skill developments will be part and partial and the first line action for the university. So these kind of workshop and seminars are beginning to that. We have to think, we have to be more innovative, we have to do more such courses, more such programs if you want to be relevant. So I don't want to speak too much on it because this will take over. So I please see I thank particularly Aniket because he has taken a lot of pain. These kind of activities are not easy. So he gathered a group of them. We are very small institutes. We don't have many people to do. But he took a big initiative and he gathered a small group of people and made it reality. It is not easy task. He has been, I think, 15 days he does on it. So keep it up and let us do it better and better. Thank you all. Thank you.
So I would like to request Dr. A.C. Mishra to felicitate Dr. Mukund Deshpande, who is the former scientist of CSIR NCN and the director of Green Innovation. Our second speaker, Dr. Mugdha Nene, who is the head of the Social Innovations at Venture Center. And the third speaker, Mr. Vikas Dangar, who is the founder director of Westwick Foods Private Limited and Agri Pure Natural Foods Private Limited. Thank you, sir. We will now have our second session. So, requesting the speakers and others to have a seat.
So good afternoon, everyone. स्लाइड हा टेबल काढायला सांगायचं पहिले स्लाइड सांगू दर्शायला गेला स्लाइड पाच मिनिट चेस्ट the bottles. Yes. So we are doing with everything. So good afternoon. This year we have set many talks, but now I'm going to introduce you to one person who has guided this entrepreneur, and her name is Dr. Dhanil. She is currently head of Social Innovations at Venture Center. She has done her PhD from the School of Health Sciences from University of Pune. Uh, she's a fellow of Cheveling Rolls Royce Science Innovation Policy and Leadership Program at the said Business School, University of Oxford, UK. In 2018, she has been the part of Aritra Accelerator Program for Leadership in Social Sector at IIM Bangalore. She served as a nominee director of board of Synthera Biomedical Private Limited, a dental biomedical startup. Paramatic Health Care Solutions Private Limited, a medical diagnostics startup, and Spot Healthcare Science Solutions Private Limited, a medtech startup. Mukta, you can also, I know Mukta from past 5 years, I guess. The stage is yours.
So, good afternoon, everyone, and I thank Irsha for inviting me for this excellent talk series which you have put together. I guess most of you are PhD students, PhD scholars at the institute here. So, I'll try to give examples mainly from those kind of domains and also give some pointers on how to you can take your research ahead and take it all the way to commercialize it as one of the career opportunities, since I think career opportunities is the focus of this entire talk series also. So this is what broadly we will try to discuss, I guess, in this one and a half hours or so, where I'll try to introduce the concept of science-based entrepreneurship, where we will try to understand what is the business creation process. We will try to understand the technology and science-based startups and a few essential points which all of us must keep in mind in case we want to explore that as one of the possibilities. Then I'll briefly introduce how Venture Center as a technology business incubator, how we can help, we can facilitate this journey of yours as an early stage innovator, eventually moving into the startup domain. And then, of course, without funding, as you can understand, not much is possible. We do need funding. All of your researchers, you are aware about the research grants, but what we will try to understand and what are the startup funding opportunities, particularly for early stage innovators. So first, a primer on science entrepreneurship. If we try to understand about any business, the business creation process, there are two parts of this business creation process. One is the idea part, and then the second part, which is equally important, is the execution of that idea. So what comes in the idea part of the business creation process? First is identifying the problem. So, as PhD students probably have already identified that problem since you have started working on a particular domain in your research topic. So, the problem or the need has already been identified, I'm assuming. Can you also correlate it with, because we're talking about business creation process, can you correlate that need or problem as a customer pain point? Because that is where the opportunity for you will lie. Right? So the first point is the problem or the need identification, correlating it with the customer pain point and converting it to a possible probable opportunity. Second is then, once you have identified the problem, being scientists, we think immediately about what is the solution, how can I solve it. Generally, as scientists, even I am a scientist to start with, we quickly move into providing a solution, which is a little bit wrong way of looking at things. First, try to find out the problem or the need, and then try to address it or solve it by thinking about the solution, so which will give rise to the know-how on how to solve that particular problem. Then moving one step ahead, can you think about how you can offer it to the customer? Is it a product? Is it going to be a service that you're going to offer? Because your customer is not interested in the science behind your product or the service. The customer wants to know what exactly is the offering, what is the product or the service that he or she will be served with. And then, of course, the revenue model. How do you generate money? How do you earn money? Because Dr. Deshpande also was just mentioning in the talk earlier, without profit, nothing is possible. Vishal sir also mentioned just now, profit and business go hand in hand. So revenue model is very, very important. Then the execution of this business idea is the equally important and the most difficult part, I would say, particularly for scientists, engineers, people with this kind of background. We are not MBAs to start with, but execution of that idea is very, very important. And that includes first thing, managing the technology development. So we would think that okay, the research is already done, it is working in the lab, fine. What after that? The business will depend on whether your technology gets developed or not. You need to validate it by different scientific methodologies. Next important point in the business execution part is the team or the people, HR, which is very, very important. No single person can take ahead a business single-handedly. Very, very difficult thing, particularly in a science tech or deep tech kind of technology. So team, putting together the right team, getting the right people on board is very important part of the execution process of your business creation, entire business creation process. Then managing the finances. So finances, which and other resources, which includes the team, is important. Managing the rights, because as you can understand, these are novel technologies. So you should have rights, intellectual property rights, and all the entire offerings under that, which you will have in your control, where you can manage the rights for your technology or the know-how that has been generated. In the business creation process, when you are into business, visibility, communication, competition, you need to be equally aware about these aspects because they are very, very important if you want to survive in this business world. And then managing the timing of each and every part of this execution process is very, very important. Getting the right resources at the right time, putting in the right injections of money at the right point of time, managing the visibility, communication, being aware about the competition, and the timing of all these things is very important. Another illustration which all of us must keep in mind is this risk and reward illustration. So, what does this mean? That against the amount of money that you're raising versus the time that has gone for raising that money, initially, of course, you will be in the negative, right? There will not be any easy cash available to take ahead your idea. So, the depth of the hole lesser the depth of the hole, lower the depth of the hole is there in your business creation process, more possibilities there that your business will be successful. So how quickly you can become cash positive is very, very critical in the business creation process. So this also you have to remember very well. Now let us talk about certain perfect business ideas to start with. Where do I start? You may have 10 different ideas in your mind and you are confused or you want to work on all of them, which is not possible, but you have to pick or prioritize some of them. So which are those perfect business ideas that we should always start with? So there's a concept here which I want to put into place, which is the painkiller kind of ideas and the vitamins kind of idea. What do we mean by that? All of us know that painkiller
painkillers are something which the patient is dying to buy. Come what may, they want the painkiller because they want to kill that pain. So choose those kind of ideas which fall in the painkiller kind of category and not in the vitamins kind of category. That does not mean that vitamins are not important. They are important, but they could be your second set of ideas or the next kind of ideas which you should move ahead in your business, right? So go for painkiller kind of ideas and not the vitamins kind of ideas. So which is addressing burning problems, customers are dying to solve it. Identify those or prioritize those kind of ideas from your list. Take ideas which will make money while you sleep. Basically, ideas which will have novel products, which have the IP edge, you have the intellectual property with you. Those kind of ideas fall again in the perfect business ideas kind of category. Customer is paying to ready to pay in advance because you know cash is king. So if you can generate revenue as early as possible because customer is wanting to pay for it even in advance to get that solution, those would be your priority kind of ideas where you have a sustainable competitive edge. For example, taking an example of waste to value kind of domain, your starting material is the waste raw material, and you have a easy access or a ready access to that raw material. You please pick up those kind of ideas because there you have a sustainable competitive edge. And then from investor perspective, you have the clarity on buyers for your company also. If you can have that kind of clarity, who is ready to buy out your business after you start making some kind of revenue, that would be another possibility for a painkiller kind of idea or the perfect business idea. One more thing to keep in mind when you are again talking about ideas is de-risking of your technology, which is very, very important that you reduce the risk or the uncertainty. As the risk or uncertainty goes down, your value of the business goes up. Now, what are these risks or uncertainties? In particularly, I'm talking about science tech or deep tech kind of businesses. First important point is the technology risk, where we just spoke about the idea is working perfectly well in the lab. When you try to scale it up to business standards or sorry industry standards, the technology fails, right? So you have to de-risk that technology as the first starting point, and of course, there your scientific capabilities come into play very very strongly. Second important risk is the people risk. If you're not able to onboard good team members, the relevant skill sets who will be helping you in your technology de-risking or taking your startup ahead, again that's a risk. Or good skill sets people, they're deserting you, they're not ready to continue with you, again that's a risk. So try to get a good team on board and also hold them together. That's a soft skill that as CEO or a founder of your startup you need to build over the years. So people is important. One more risk which you need to de-risk as you if you want to increase the value of your business. The third important risk is the finances. Basically, you should have ready buckets of finances available at least in your thought process so that you can uh, pitch for those kind of financial calls. So finances are very very important because without money, nothing is possible to take your idea ahead. The fourth important point is the market. The technology is wonderful, but there are no buyers. You have not been able to identify the market to start with. So do identify the market. Who is going to buy my product if and when I become ready, if I'm ready, whenever I'm ready with my product. So if you have not identified your market right at the beginning, that's a very, very critical risk which will result in failure of your business. And the last and the most important risk, and this is particularly true for medtech, biotech, biomed kind of products, is the regulatory risk. We have seen several examples where at the regulatory level, everything is working fine, but because they have not thought about the regulatory approvals and some things have not been taken care of when they're developing the product, at the regulatory level, there are a lot of hurdles which the startup faces. So do think about the regulatory risks right at the beginning of your startup journey. So when we talk about the business creation process, which has two parts, the idea and the execution, the science is involved in the earlier part of the business creation process, and that is the idea part of the process. In the execution, there are a lot of non-scientific skills which will be required, right? So as you can understand from there, things what we discussed. There are a lot of skill sets which you will need as you move ahead in the execution part of your business creation process. And then this slide also emphasizes that this is an iterative process. So even though you have taken care of the idea part of the business by foolproofing on the science part, you may have to go back and forth because there are some problems in execution. You face certain hurdles. You may have to tweak back into the problem part also sometimes, or the solution part, or the product part, like what is your product offering. So this is an iterative process, and that is why it's not a very linear kind of journey that you may need to traverse. Now let us try to understand the technology innovation and science-based startups. Defining it as the technology ideas are defined as if there's a pain point or the problem or the need has been identified, there is a solution which could be a single solution or a group of solutions, and that comes together that gives rise to some kind of technology idea. In some of the sessions, you might have heard the word jugaad, and we are very familiar with jugaad kind of solutions. They need not necessarily fall in the scientific domain, but yes, these kind of solutions do exist as the starting point for several of the technology ideas. Then what is the invention? Where there is a pain or a problem which is identified, there is a solution, and there is novelty in both the problem or the solution, either the problem or the solution, or both of the problem and the solution. That gives rise to the term invention. So the simplest example is the zipper example, which it does not involve any science insights into it, but basically it's an invention, a very useful invention to address an important pain point. Scientific inventions, the modification here is there are insights from science in both the problem or the solution part of the entire process. So that's a scientific invention, and the best example is penicillin. All of us know that it's a very important solution which came up, and there are insights from science which have resulted in the development of penicillin. But then what is innovation? We have discussed about invention, scientific invention, but innovation is a completely different ballgame where invention is the earlier part of this journey, and the jump from invention beyond to taking the product to the market is what is innovation. So basically, it's not a very linear kind of process. It's just made simplistic for illustration perspective, but it's a very complex process where you start with the problem and the solutions. You come it together as a technology idea. You are then doing the key proofs of concept and the doability kind of studies. Then you have the prototype where you are at demonstration stage. Then there are rights, trials, approvals. That is one stage. Then you move on into commercial production, and then finally, probably your product is in use in the market. So, as you can understand, this would take a major part of the journey where invention part, what all of us do as scientists, unfortunately contribute only to 20% of the journey. The major part of the work, time, investment, 80% of that goes into the rest of the journey to the market. So if you try to remember which are the inventions which you remember to this date also, then those are the inventions that successfully navigated this entire journey where the product came in use. Think about any kind of invention which you seem to remember or you quickly can remember. You see that they have traversed this entire journey, and that is those are the months which will be remembered most. So, what is the lesson that we take from this particular slide? Those who want to create value out of their inventions, which kind of value? It could be social value, economic value, environmental value, some kind of impact with their inventions. They need to also find or create or build the rest of the journey to the market. That's a key point from this slide. So understanding again the tech innovation from a different time. So that's the same journey which I'm showing in the topmost line here. It's generally a marathon, basically a very long run, and it's not a sprint. It's not a 100 meters dash. कि शुरू किया और खत्म हो गया ऐसे नहीं होता है in the tech innovation journey. It's a very long marathon. Many activities, many organizations are involved to support which you need as a support in your entire journey. So what kind of activities will be required? These are the kinds of activities which you need to be aware about if you are wanting to traverse this entire journey till your product is used in the hands of the customer. So capability building, ideation, identifying, defining the business opportunity, questioning, checking the value proposition, refining, know-how and patents, then raising and managing finances and resources, prototypes, pilots, confirming the value proposition, certifications, regulations, approvals, manufacturing, marketing, sales operations, testing the business model. So this is where the R&D institutes generally fall. Like, we are very good at identifying problem, solution we are very good. We try to develop the technology or the science behind the which address a problem very quickly. And if you want to make this jump into a startup, this is where the startups form, and then eventually that startups will get converted into a large company. So again, complicating the same slide much more, which now talks about the different kind of support systems that you will need. So right from the research infrastructure, knowledgeable scientists who will understand problems, inventors, we will also need patent professionals. You will be also needing engineering or prototyping peers, skill set on your team, entrepreneurs, mentors. You will also need some large support for technology de-risking, risk finance and venture investors, regulatory approvals. Very importantly, you will also need the financial and legal part of the business creation process, SCA, legal professional services. When you move into manufacturing, you need supplier, business development, application development experts, QA, QC experts, managers. So all these people would be relevant to this entire journey. And this is where incubator comes to picture, where you've now decided to take that jump from a R&D research kind of orientation into the startup journey, where the incubator will play a very important and supportive role in your journey. There are different kinds of fundings, and we are going to talk about that little, but let me just point out research funding, all of us are very much aware, but there are also proof of concept funding, scale up funding, tech de-risking seed funding, market business model de-risking funding, early stage venture funding, and then, of course, the growth expansion, those kind of big funds which are available. So with this background, let us talk about some basic essential pointers which you need to keep in mind if by now you may think that yes, I want to be a starter. I may want to explore that one of my career opportunities. What should I remember as few essential basic starting points? First and foremost, have clarity on the business idea. Spend enough time to give thought to your what exactly is the business idea you wish to work on. So when I say what the business idea, I'm not at all asking about the technology, the science, because that anyway going to work, right? Because all of your scientists will have confidence doing that. Let us not discuss about that part at all. Okay, what you want clarity on is the product or the service. क्या दोगे customer को हाथ में as a product or a service? Think about that and not the science. Your customer gives a damn to that science behind the product. The product is very important for the customer. Who is going to pay you for that product? Who needs it? Identify that. Why is it valuable? What exactly the pain point that the customer is getting will determine the value of product. What is going to be the potential impact once your product or the service is going to be available to the customer? Another important aspect in the business clarity part is who will make the purchase decision? पैसा कौन देने वाला है? Why I'm emphasizing this point? This is particularly true in medtech domain, in government kind of settings, where probably if your product is going to go into a PHC, it's a diagnostic which is going to go into a PHC. That poor lady is not going to make the decision to purchase it. Probably on her behalf, that diagnosis is going to be made available through the government system at the PHC. Okay, give the example with as real life situation as possible, where who will make the purchase decision is not a patient, but someone who's going to make it available to the patient. Again, doctors make decisions on behalf of patient. Patients will pay there maybe in private settings. Patients will pay, but unless a doctor recommends, the patient will not go and purchase. So purchase decision, who is going to make, who will pay for it, how much will they pay, because that one critical point which will decide what is the cost of your diagnostic. Okay. So how much they pay, can pay at all or not, because again this will impact the business model. How you want to get the payment will be decided on can that person pay or not. Okay, so it could be through insurance route maybe, right? And the last and most important point is the value proposition against the other alternatives which are serving the same purpose. That is the differentiation chart where your product is compared to other products which are currently existing. Now we hear this very often when we are mentoring incubating that my product is the only product. There's no such product available in the market. Very commonly heard kind of defense in this when we say that they build your value proposition. ऐसा कभी होता नहीं है. Maybe yes, the product that you're offering is novel. It is solving the problem in a different way. But somehow or the other, the problem is getting addressed to not the best extent, but some kind of extent. So, what is the best comparative to your current to your product that you're offering? It is critical to be thought about as a value proposition or your differentiation chart. So your pitch should read something like this. My company, the company that you're talking about, will deliver this XYZ product or service to XYZ customer. So your customer should be very clear. Who will choose our product over the competition for the following benefits, reasons, or value proposition? So again, there should be clarity on who are your competitors and how your product is best compared or better placed as compared to the competitors. The business model will be so and so. How will you make money? What is exactly your business model? What is your go-to-market strategy? The company aims to grow into these markets. So identifying the markets is very important, and will maintain the competitive edge due to whatever is the competitive edge that you have with you. Maybe it's a patent that you own for the technology behind the product. Right? So this is how your pitch in a crisp kind of thing will look like. So people who want to raise grants, I can see Harshad. Harshad here who has already got a DI grant as far as I know from the audience. So he would appreciate that yes, during the BIG proposal, his pitch would have looked something like this, and that's what your funding agency looks at. You have planned all these different aspects when you are pitching for a startup grant, innovation kind of grant. Moving to the next important point which you should keep in mind, we are talking about those pointers which are essential pointers. The second point is about the patents, technology and the patents. Do you have freedom to operate? What are your patents? So for example, this is the entire no knowledge base. There's some pre-prior art for they could be it will be the public domain, it will be open to everyone. Your know-how kind of lies here. Okay, this is where your math know-how to. But there are a lot of patents already that people have found. Okay, so a landscape, a priority search is very important. So IP analytics plays a very critical role where you should be aware about what are the patents already existing and where does my possibility of filing a patent lie. And that is where you first quickly go and file your patent without, of course, infringing on the other existing patents. Okay, and your person from the IT team will help you to landscape this. Okay, so the information awareness about technology and patents is very important. Third important point is resourcing, and here I do not restrict myself only to the funds that are available as resources, but also people as resources. We have been emphasizing on people. The team is very important. So entirely for your business flow, construct the flow diagram, identify all the steps and stages that will go into your business registration process. Focus on all those stages where is risks, there is uncertainty. So please look at pre-identify as much as possible. You may not be able to think about all the risks that are there or all the uncertainties in your journey. Try to pre-think think about it well in advance. So one of that which we have already spoke about is the regulatory risk, right? That is where uncertainty is. Those kind of risks identify well in advance. Then identify the resources which will be required at each of these stages and steps in your journey. One thing is the people which who will have the necessary skill sets, how much the know-how that will be required to develop, how much money will be required, what are the infra facilities. So think about each and every aspect. All these are resources in your entire journey. know which resource is a critical factor that you cannot compromise on that. So, for example, a particular skill set, वो चाहिए ही चाहिए, तो पहले से सोच के रखो कि that skill set I want to onboard and at the right point of time. So you may have to back calculate when do I want that skill set, maybe 1 year down the line. I start looking for that skill set in terms of the person that you want to onboard way back 12 months in advance. If I need it 1 year down the line, start looking because getting the right people is very, very difficult. Mind this well, it's very difficult, and we see it so often that the critical resource, the skill is not available at the right point of time, and that is where technology gets stuck. Right? Identify the critical resource for the as a successful and know what is exactly one next, and then set up the execution plan on paper before you start. You have in mind for securing the resources and the timelines for each and every resource. It could be money, it could be people, it could be infra, anything what we have kind of indicated here. And final important point to keep in mind is the finances. So as again scientists, as science people, we shy away from numbers, right? Particularly the money kind of terms terms that are used. So be very, very aware about income, expenditure. When do I become profitable? Try reading out your flow sheets also, the expense sheets, rate of return, projection of cumulative profit. When do you recoup your investment? If you put some kind of investment, when do you take it back? So these are aspects which as scientists as but as CEO founders of your startup, you need to be aware of. You can get it done, you can outsource it to a finance person or get a finance person on board later on also. But you should be able to have intelligent talk with your CACS person on all these aspects as a founder of your startup. So with this now, if there are any questions, you can pause here because now I have to move shift gears into how venture center can help you in different ways, and of course talk about the final opportunity. Any questions here? I thought you had a question. If there are no questions at this point, we should move on and you can think of questions later on. So let me briefly introduce how Venture Center can help you in this journey. So Venture Center, we are a Section 8 not-for-profit company hosted by National Chemical Laboratory. We are almost 17 years old now. And we are approved by DSC, NSTDB, and the Department of Biotechnology as an incubator. And broadly, we provide end-to-end support, comprehensive support for particularly early stage ideas. That is where Venture Center specializes. These are some of the accolades. The most recent one being the best incubator for nurturing intellectual property. So this is a very, very special award from the Commerce Ministry, which we recently got in 2022. We were also ranked the number one bio incubator for something bio specific ideas. Venture Center is a bio incubator, so we ranked number one there. We also won the National Entrepreneurship Award in 2019, Asian Incubator of the Award, the Certificate of Merit for being Smart Incubator, and the National Award for Technology Business Incubator in 2015. So, probably our mission is to nucleate and nurture world-leading innovative ventures out of India that solve the globe's most pressing problems with science and technology-led interventions. Now, its entire mission statement, nucleate, nurture, was the first two important words which we emphasize on. We want to attract good inventions, innovations, and nurture them into commercial products and services. So, all making them world-leading innovative ventures, and we focus on science and technology-led intervention. So, when you say science and technology, it covers almost everything in the science tech domain. Our focus particularly is on these kind of domains. So you can see almost all the domains, right from healthcare, biotech, environment, life sciences, energy, environment, sustainability, water, sanitation, engineering, electronics, manufacturing services, engineering services, and also agriculture, agriculture, food, nutrition. So these are the different domains where particularly missing in that domain is the IT domain. So IT is what we do not support specifically because one thing they do not need our and we they become successful any minimum kind of investments. So IT is what e-commerce IT have developed what do not support the. Our focus areas are on promoting inventive enterprises and spin-offs from our institutions. So Venture Center are incubated one of the first incubator in the CSIR particularly, where we have been successful in spin-off kind of creations and scientists and other IT institutes. There are few of the emerging sectors in the pipelines. You can see some of the upcoming words these days: circular economy, biopharma, advanced medical biotechnology, digital IT sensors, electronic wearables. Defense is a very, very important sector which is now coming up in a big way. Climate action, clean energy management, food security, carbon capture. So these are some of the sectors which we have started slowly building pipelines into. Some of the key enabling initiatives include these three verticals basically. These are some of our offerings: incubation practice school, there are databases which are available, and we have several focused mentoring programs, one of which was the AIM Prime program supported by Bill and Melinda Foundation. Then we have fellowships, launchpads, lab to market services, and student clubs which we support. And then, of course, there are pre incubation, associate incubation, and resident incubation programs. Social incubation is one of our strengths where I lead particularly the social incubation vertical, bio incubation and lab to market program. We also have a specialized soft landing program for successful startups abroad. Then we also have a lot of grants, big grant, Prayas grant, there are seed funding available, and we run several meet the investor kind of series. And then of course there are M clinics, which are mentoring clinics, one-on-one clinics with the ventures. Then we also do specialized venture based camps, and we have an investor readiness program, which we have just 6 months back we completed the first round, and we got a lot of expression of interest from several investors. These are few success stories. I don't know how much time I have. So these are few success stories, and probably I may not be able to discuss about each one of them. But one name which prominently comes up is My Lab. They have been our incubator for some time, and particularly during COVID, a lot of our initiatives are enabling activities help them to quickly scale up and take their COVID diagnostic kits to the market. So they are the first in India CDSU approved indigenous RT-PCR and antigen test kits for COVID-19. So COVID hit, and in another 2 weeks, their product was in the market for the first in India. We also have Nobel Exchange, which is in the domain of city scale conversion of organic waste into bio CNG. So that's one city scale demonstration. So all the organic waste in Pune Municipal Corporation area is carted to the Nobel Exchange set up in Talegaon here. You're free to go and visit them. That is demo scale, and now they are just in another 2 months they are entering the Bangalore Municipal Corporation. So as you can understand, working with municipal corporations is a very, very difficult, tough task, and they have been kind of partially successful at least. They took them a long time to crack the municipal corporation sector, and the Pune they just they have been successful, and now they are moving into Bangalore also. Actorius is another startup, so they are the first CDSU approved circulating tumors and diagnostic solution which they have offered. Jeeptronics is the first involved dual port hand crank defibrillator. So, if you are aware, defibrillators are equipments which revive the patient out of a heart attack. So, particularly resource poor settings where the defibrillators are not charged because of the power situation. Their defibrillator, just by hand cranking for 10 to 12 seconds, it can be charged and you can revive the patient and shift the patient to tertiary care facility. So they already have 600 plus deployments in India in different schools. For in India, US, they approved final interest. They have Indians. They have now moved out of pension. They graduated out of pension. They have own self, just here, this Satara, industrial estate. Sorry? शिरवळला नाही पुण्यात सातारा रोडला जी इंडस्ट्रियल इस्टेट आहे ना several of our startups are in fact graduated and they have their own manufacturing setup here Satara Road. India's is one of them. Tried Ergonomic Solutions is India's top process modeling and simulation expert. Bioprime is in the agriculture domain. She's a PhD from University of Delhi from the botany department, and she's making crops climate resilient using targeted physiology modeling biomolecules. Flightbase is a drones company, so they have developed a software platform for commercial drones. And OmniDRX, another company which became prominent during the COVID pandemic because they were able to give their disposable bioreactors for the biopharma sector during the vaccine productions. So this is Nobel Exchange. This is the plant that I was talking about in Talegaon. You see this full size container here. This is the full size container. This is the size of the plant. It's a huge plant, three big balloons here, where the organic waste is converted into bio-CNG. And it's a very good example of circular economy where bio-CNG is pumped back into the city buses, and that is what closes the entire loop. This is my lab's report because now it has become very, very famous post the pandemic. And this is a soft lending company, Tarana Wireless. So they're already a unicorn in the US, but they wanted to have their base in India. And that is where we came into place for them. They have last mile connectivity. So we gave them a foothold in Pune city to set up their base, and they are now trying to penetrate the Indian market. So we have had several companies, you can see some big names here also who have been our soft lending startup companies. So some fact figures, they are almost 17 years old now, starting from 2010. 750 plus startup teams have been supported via different programs. 175 plus resident incubators, which are like physical incubation adventures. In addition, several virtual incubators across India. So we are already into 22 plus states in India. We are also proud about our 11 spin-offs from R&D institutes. It's a highly engaged community of 200 plus mentors, experts in the network, and events like also we conduct almost 200 plus events either in offline mode, online mode, or hybrid kind of mode also. It's again a huge campus. We have a big team size now. We started with 5, 6 people way back in probably 2007. I have been with Venture Center for almost 10 years now, and now we have reached almost 60, 65 as our team members from different strengths each one of us carries. There are 9 specialized resource centers, which I will point them out in the later slides. And there are special strengths which we have in IT facilitation and technology transfer via our regional technology transfer office. We have a regulatory facilitation center, so it is one of our unique facility, particularly for regulatory approvals, where our team handholds in dossier preparation, training your team members for the regulatory process. Advanced prototyping facilities and very high kind of analytical facilities. All our facilities are open to anyone. You need not physically incubate or be an incubator with Venture Center to use our facilities. You can just come and use our facilities. Students get very heavy discounts. Academic get deep discounts. If you're a social innovator, you get deep discounts. So these are different kind of discounts, but basically all our facilities are open facilities. Venture Center is a highly inclusive kind of environment where we are supporting 27% women founders, 19% women enterprises, and 85% founders with higher degrees. So, women-led startups, women enterprises, women founders, we have very, very supportive in those numbers, in those kind of ventures. Economic impact wise, the risk capital mobilized in just the last 8 years, if we take the figure, 700 plus crores of risk capital has been mobilized, whereas revenue-wise, 1,700 plus crores have been generated in the last 18 years. 85% of the startups are still active, and I'm very proud to say that this is a high number, particularly when we're talking about deep tech, science tech kind of domain. We specialize particularly in early stage, as I've been telling you, startups at concept stage, proof of concept or prototype stage. And then, of course, we do the entire handholding. So, almost 90% plus of our innovative startups are at a very, very early stage. Inventive products wise, 75% of our startups have inventive products, and patent filing, more than 140 plus unique families of patents have been filed by our startups. So, overall, if you can see, we provide a comprehensive support system which includes infra facilities, funding supports in different forms, and we will talk a little bit about funding. Mentoring is our key strength, and we have a dedicated mentor pool as a database which is available. Funding database is a key asset which Venture Center has. It's a continuously updated database and it's a resource for anyone to come and use from anywhere. Plug and play labs are labs which you can just come and start utilizing. We have specialized partnerships with several experts from different domains. We have a prototyping lab, testing and analysis facilities, regulatory facility, and tech transfer and IT facilities. And we are also running a lot of national programs where we are the DST NIDI Center of Excellence, DST NIDI Entrepreneur and Residence Program National Partner. We are a BIRAC Bio Incubator now called BioNest, and we are the West Zone hub for the BIRAC BioNest. And we are also BIRAC Regional Bio Innovation Center. There are four such centers in India, and one of them is the Venture Center. So if we take one example of medtech, they have almost end-to-end support right from proof of concept to prototyping to trial manufacturing to sterilization and packaging and testing and regulatory, where we have all the facilities, which also includes a clean room, class 7, class 8 clean room, which is available to the startups. If you look at the different stages in the entrepreneur's life cycle, right, at the preparation stage, there are so many things available at the launching stage, at the developing validation protection stage, at the market entry stage, and at the scaling up stage. So we name the stage and give a lot of offerings, and we can discuss separately about that after this talk. Just a quick snapshot of the incubators to know what kind of incubators Venture Center has supported and is supporting. So there is a lot of clustering around the health domain, not because we are favoring health, but because a lot of funding is available for health kind of ideas. But you can see these are other sectors: ICT, electronics engineering, clean, green, environment, and energy kind of ideas, agro and industrial biotech, and then others also, which we are partnering with. These are the spin-outs which I've been talking about. Some of them are from NCN and some of them are from, few of them are from other R&D labs. Our reach is almost in 22 states via our city camps, mentees in different cities, the different mentoring programs, outreach programs where our mentees are in different parts of the country. This is our board of directors. As you can see, Dr. Neely, who is currently the director of NCIL. By default, the director of NCIL is the chairman of our board. And then we have people from the government, from finance background, from entrepreneur background, from agencies like BITS, Path, BIRAC kind of experience. This is, of course, Dr. Prerna, who is the founder director of Venture Center. And we have investors also. So Rajan Shrikant and Sanjay Kanwante are the investors who mentor our board members. And Vilas Silkar, who is the ex-Unilever person, so he's also mentoring our startups. So this is a brief about Dr. Prerna, who is the founder director. These are our supporting partners. You can see a lot of government names here, in addition to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is not mentioned here, but these are some of the funding agencies with whom we have worked. These are our CSR partners. So corporate social responsibility funds are also available to a lot of our startups. You can see some big company names here. Some are from Pune, some are from outside Pune. These are the facility images, but more than this, please come to Venture Center to see the facility for yourself. Anytime you want to visit, just drop me an email and we will be able to host you. So these are the lecturing facilities. A quick word on funding. I hope I have
Yes,
10
10 minutes.
Any questions? Because we are now again shifting gears to the last section in my session. Any questions? I think everyone is keen to know about the funding opportunities because. Sorry?
They want discussion.
Later on, no problem. So, focusing now on the different funding opportunities, I'm particularly going to talk about the ones which I've highlighted in red here because we will not have time for all the others. And Venture Center particularly specializes in these kind of early stage funding facilities. So at the idea stage, at the proof of concept stage, at the prototype demonstration stage, at the rights trials approval stage, commercial production stage, and then finally when your product is in use, funding is available throughout the VC funds, the venture capital funds, come very, very late in the life cycle. Early on, there were only these two kind of funding pockets. The three Fs. Anyone aware? What are the three Fs? One F is friends, the second F is family, and the third F is some fool who believes your early stage idea. So yes, people have been get able to raise funds either from friends or family or from some fools who yes chalo de dete hain paisa karke. Right? Not aware about that. Some ideas might fail, but friends and family कैसे भी दे देते होंगे पैसा. But the kitty was very very small. Max to max up to 50 lakhs. उसके आगे तो कोई पैसा नहीं देगा. And then there was a huge crunch till you cross this valley of death. And when you start getting traction in terms of revenue by selling your products, then the venture capital funds used to come in. But now the situation has changed with so many things coming up thanks to some of government programs also that we have now very, very early stage funding also available right at the idea stage. So there are different funding options such as the Nidhi CIR, which is a DST program, the Nidhi Prayas, which is a prototyping grant. Then there is this social innovation program, which again ideation kind of fellowship. So these two are the early stage fellowship programs. This is a very, very early stage prototyping grant. Then comes your big or the splash kind of grants, which help you to move to the next level. And then start your early stage seed funds, where against which you can again scale up. So these are basically for your startup. So here you make the jump from an innovator into a startup. Unless you're a startup, you may not be able to avail of these seed funds. And then of course the other programs, some from DBT, some from DST, and some come from early stage venture funds. They also start coming up, and then some of the international funding also starts coming up. So let us try to discuss few of them at least. I start with what I do at Venture Center, which is where I lead the social innovations. I mentor social innovators, those ideas which will have a lot of social impact. That is where my focus is. Since my training is in public health sciences, that is where I come into the picture. So we have several things under the social innovations vertical which we do. You can visit the social innovations web page on the Venture Center website to know much more where we do. In addition to the fellowship program, we do a lot of social innovation talks. We do a lot of campaigns around socially relevant themes. We do a lot of early stage kind of talk series called the Startup 101 series. So these are few of the things which I am pointing out. There is also some kind of funding which is available under our Include program where we can give discounts to some of the social innovators for availing our services. So these are some of the offerings under our social innovations vertical at Venture Center. So for the social innovations, in fact, CSR is an integral part of the social innovations vertical also. So under the social innovation program, we have this social innovation immersion program, which is a BIRAC program. It's a fellowship grant for ideation level. So if you have some basic idea which you want to explore and you need support for that, that is the fellowship which comes handy to you. This generally is around a particular theme. So currently the theme which we are supporting is agri-tech. So these are the 4 fellows who are currently part of this program. They'll be completing like almost about to complete the fellowship in November. So it's an 18-month long program. It starts first with induction, where we expose them to different aspects of entrepreneurship through uh, talk kind of sessions. There are talks of almost 24 weeks duration, and they are exposed. These talks are also, of course, open to everyone else, not only to the fellows. But these talks basically support talk about different aspects of entrepreneurship, also including the soft skills part, how to build your team, how to read the term sheets, how to prepare a business plan. So these angles also are covered under the Startup 101 series. So we are about to start one from 26th of October, and I will leave the details with Dr. Hegele sir so he can share with all of you. So the fellows are exposed to the Startup 101 series, and then once they are inducted into the program, we take them into the fields to see the actual problems, not sit in the offices or the labs and think about which problem to address. So they actually go out into the field where I insisted on identifying the problem is very, very important. What exactly is the need? So, for example, these agri-tech fellows, we took them to farmlands, to farmer producer organizations who are providing important products to the farmers. We also make them visit different research institutes in the agriculture domain. So, lot of exposure on different aspects of agriculture, agro and secondary agriculture, and food and nutrition kind of product development was given to them. Where they come up with a list of almost 150 plus problem statements or needs they identified. Then we have a dedicated matrix which they use to choose 4 or 5 problem statements, after which they pitch to the BIRAC committee, that is the funding agency, and one of the problem statements gets approved. So this happens in the first 6 months of the program. And then there is 1 year of intense prototyping. They get a prototyping grant of 5 lakh rupees in addition to the monthly fellowship of 50,000 rupees. So that 50,000 they get for 18 months, and the kickstart grant, it is called the prototyping grant, which is of 5 lakh rupees to develop the minimum basic level of prototype to show that yes, whatever they have identified the problem and they have thought about as a solution, it is at least working at a basic level. Once that is shown, then they can pitch for other next level grants. So, for example, Abhishek here, who has been able to secure the biotech ignition grant already last month. So he will complete this fellowship by November end. And BIG, that is Biotech Ignition Grant, is what he has been able to secure based on the prototype which he has been able to develop using this Kickstart grant from the Social Innovation Fellowship Program. So he will get the 50 lakhs, say starting January, and he will continue his product development via the Biotech Ignition Grant. Others have also pitched for the same grant, and in the first, so it's a very, very competitive kind of grant. So all of them could not get through. Only one of them got through because it's a very, very early stage kind of idea that they have been working on. So they have again applied for the next round. This BIG, the Biotech Ignition Grant, it opens every 6 months. So although he has got through, they might get through in the next round also. So this is the Social Innovation Immersion Program, which is one of the early stage fellowships at the ideation stage that is available to fellows. So we have already completed, this is the 5th cohort which we have completed. So the earlier cohorts have worked on ideas like maternal and child health, sanitation, waste to value, elderly related technologies, right? So all these are very, very impactful kind of themes, socially relevant themes which have been supported. So every time we get 3 to 4 fellows, and so up till now we have been able to support 18 of them over the last 5 cohorts, and of which 14, so no, sorry, 10 have converted into startups. So we do not expect 100% success because these are ideation level. But out of the 18, 10 have already converted into startups. We have supported them beyond this SIP program, that is this fellowship program, via BIG or the other kind of grants. We have also been able to invest in them through our seed investments. So this is the kind of story with this social innovation fellows. They start with us from identifying the problem, and we hand for them through the rest of the journey also. And these 4 are in the process of creating their startup. So by the end of November, I hope 4 more startups would be there. So that number 10 number of startups, we go to 14 out of the 18 that we have supported. These are the CSR grants which are available. So I want to point out that almost all of them, some of them are for infra development, but several of them are for supporting startup ideas or supporting socially impactful ideas. So every CSR, that is corporate social responsibility, from a corporate company, from an industry, they have some focus areas. So they are generally complementary to one of the national missions where they want to nurture and promote technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation. Some of them have supported our startups during the COVID times for specific kind of focuses. So, a lot of our startups, we have almost 25 of our startups who could develop COVID relevant products. Some of them already had their products ready, which were in that domain. Some of them pivoted also to come out with COVID relevant products. And they have been supported by some of the CSR industries here. So these are some of the CSR initiatives at Venture Center. The next call, which is there for again a fellowship program, and this is also again at the ideation level where you should have an idea in a place and you want to explore it, you want to prepare, you want to do a market research, you want to prepare a business plan before you pitch for the next level grant. So this is this entrepreneur in residence program. So although this says in residence, you again need not physically incubate with venture center. You could be working in a research lab, but you are an EIR fellow at venture center. So my colleague Amruta Gore, she leads this program. Currently, fortunately, the call is open. So anyone in their final years, because this is a full-time kind of commitment, who are about to submit their thesis, please do apply before 15th of October because that is the deadline. So once, I mean, of course, this will take, the processing takes 2-3 months because the committee has to be there and you have to pitch your idea in front of the committee. We can mentor you for putting together a what you can say effective pitch for the committee. And this call is open, as I told, till 15th of October. I think today we are at 11th. 12th.
This is part of the social innovation fellowship.
No. So this is
Different.
Yeah.
So what is the eligibility for the innovation fellowship?
So for any of the funding grants, the eligibility is graduation, minimum graduation in science, engineering, medicine.
It's
So
all
all these are
graduation.
PhD students.
But that will be a full time.
Yeah. All these are full time. So that is why I said who are in their final
Final.
years, who are about to submit their thesis. Don't wait till you submit your thesis, apply. Okay, so the not all calls which I'm showing are open. What is open currently is the EIR call, maybe EIR call. So do visit this website, this venturecenter.co.in/EIR. That is the website. Visit that. The form is online. Submit it. Don't worry too much. Ki hoga, nahi hoga. Just submit it. Okay, that's a very simple form. They ask you briefly about your idea, and once the eligibility and all checks are done, then you will go to the committee level, right? So please apply. Don't hesitate to apply. I'm encouraging particularly the final year students, the students who are about to complete their PhDs to apply. Okay, so that is Amruta's coordinates also, which I mentioned here. This is the email address and this is the cell number. Another grant which is beyond EIR, it is a prototyping grant. Again, this is a full-time grant. Again, you need not be a startup to apply for Prayas. You can apply as an individual also. The call will open now. The next call, it keeps on opening every 5 to 6 months depending on the availability of the funds. So the next call will open tentatively in November. So do look out for our website, or you can look up at venturecenter.co.in/needy Prayas website. So even on the Venture Center website, you can get to know. This is again led by Amruta, and these are her Prayas related coordinates. Cell number, of course, is same, but this is the Prayas email ID. The next level call is this biotech ignition plant, which I was just referring to. As I told you, this is a biannual call. So every 1st Jan and 1st July, these dates are written in black, like I mean, written on stone, where every 1st January and 1st July, the call will open. So even if you missed the Jan call is going to open, will remain open for 1.5 months. So 1st Jan it will open, 15th February it will close. It's always that. 1st July it will open, 14th or 16th August, 15th is a holiday, so they close it on either 14th August or 16th August, generally 16th August. So that is what is the biotech ignition grant. So as you know, the next call is coming up on 1st of January. It's again a 18-month long program. It has different types of supports where you can also get manpower. In none of the earlier calls which I told, manpower is available, meaning you cannot pay your team members. That is what I mean. You get a fellowship for yourself. Prayas will not have a fellowship for yourself. It is a purely prototyping. EIR as well as Social Innovation Fellowship will give you a fellowship for yourself, but you can't pay your team members because these are very early stage ideation level kind of fellowship just for you. Okay, but once you move beyond that ideation stage, you are actually into proof of concept level prototyping. Then you will need a team. So there's a manpower budget head which you can avail of in the biotech emission grant. Uh, which is available every 6 months. We do mentoring for this grant also. So what are the areas which get supported? If you see lot of areas in the bio domain, biotech domain get supported. This includes healthcare and medical biotech. These are the subdomains. Industrial product and processes. These are the subdomains. Agriculture. These are the subdomains. And additionally, there are these few more subdomains. So everything, lot of things in biotech gets covered. Right? So if you have questions, please approach us. We will help you to tweak your idea to fit into these domains. Mentoring is available for this biotech ignition. By the way, mentoring is available for any of the funding calls which I have mentioned up till now. And then after biotech ignition grant comes the seed funds. So this is only where venture center is required to take equity. In none of the earlier programs which I told, equity is taken. So all your IP, everything belongs to the innovator. Here also in the seed, if the IP belongs to the innovator. In fact, we facilitate the filing of the IP. Against a seed investment, venture center is mandated to take some equity against funding that particular idea. So that's all. That is also capped at I think around 10% or something. So it again depends on what exactly is the idea, how much equity venture center will be taking. That is decided by the seed fund committee. We have a what you can say third party kind of seed fund committee. A lot of investors are there on that committee, and whatever the committee that those terms and conditions we go ahead with. All the IP belongs to the startup. So for this, you cannot be an innovator. You have to have a registered startup to avail of any seed fund. So as of now, Venture Center facilitates 4 seed funds. There are 2 from BIRAC. One is the BIRAC Leap Fund and one is the BIRAC Seed Fund. And the third one is from DST via the NIDI Vertical NIDI Seed Support System. So of course the BIRAC seed funds are for bio-focused ideas because that is the mandate of BIRAC. DST fund is a sector agnostic kind of seed fund, and additionally Startup India seed fund, which is the fourth seed fund, this is also sector agnostic seed fund. From director ownership, from venture center, there's a nominee director. So there's no shares which is given to the nominee director. The equity is taken by venture center and not by the nominee director. Nominee director is for helping you with furthering your idea. So as a director of venture center, suppose you read in, Harsha told in my bio that I am a nominee director on 3 startups. So my role there, for example, in case of Spot Healthcare Solutions, my role there is to understand how Spot Healthcare is doing, what they have done up till now, and what is the plan further. Can venture center support it anyway, in any way? So as a nominee director, I will be hand-holding Spot Healthcare to take their journey ahead and not taking any shares in the as a nominee director. So in case of Spot Care, in fact, the founder is Amrita Sukruti. She was from our first cohort of Social Innovation Immersion Program, the fellowship program. She started with our first cohort, and then she came by one circle full where she got BIG, of course, and then we mentored her for BIG. And we are now investing, and I am her where I was the mentor for the Social Innovation Program. I am now a nominee director on her board. Since I know her entire journey, I would be best placed to mentor her in the further journey also. So that is the role of Venture Center in the seed funds that Venture Center implements. So Shruti, my colleague, she is the head of the funding and investment team at Venture Center, and she runs all the she leads these 4 seed fund programs. These are her coordinates. The seed fund calls are open all the year round. So there's no deadline to it, but apply as soon as possible if you're a startup. For innovators, for individuals, seed funds are not open now. That's the website where the seed fund links are available as an online application. For the academics here who are academics with the institute, this is one special program which is supported by BIRAC, promoting academic research conversion to enterprise space. Under PACE, BIRAC has 2 offerings, academic innovation research and contract research scheme. These are the 2 offerings. AIR is the one where you may or may not have involvement of industry. So support from industry is required only as a letter of support and nothing beyond that. For CRS, you will need to have a collaborative kind of arrangement with the industry because this is the next level of funding. So we do provide mentoring for both these programs, particularly for AIR, because that is where this is at the little early stage as from the academia point of view also. So more details, of course, are available on the BILAC website here. And this opens 3 times in a year, 15th February, 15th June, 15th October. So these are also fixed kind of dates open for 1.5 months every time. So the upcoming call is on 15th of October, and our team has already started mentoring the academics for the PACE call, particularly for the AIR application. So please do reach out academics particularly if you are interested in applying. Now with all these things, I'm sure students are very, very confused. Are you? कहाँ से शुरुआत करना है पता ही नहीं चल रहा है. Don't worry. This is something which you can think of about right away, which is our ignition program. Right? We want to ignite you into moving into entrepreneurship. So if you are considering करना है नहीं करना है, why don't you become our ignition members? The membership is open throughout. This is the link. Even if you go to Venture Center website, or if you are interested, please write to me. I'll send you the link on WhatsApp or email. These are the aspects which Venture Center will provide in mentoring on. This is a mentoring program. And mentoring not only from business or idea point of view, but mentoring for all funding calls throughout the year. So this is a 1 year membership. If you, for example, if you sign up today, it will be valid for 1 year. The fees are minimal, which is 1,000 rupees. And you can avail of this Ignition membership even if you are a student. Anyone can avail of the Ignition membership. So you will be mentored throughout the year on different aspects of entrepreneurship, on your technology idea, on the funding calls with whichever come up during that entire year. So this is where probably you may think about starting. My colleague, Dr. Smita Kale, she leads this program, and depending on what your ideas, we have expertise in different domains. So anything in the public health, health sciences, that kind of domain, probably I would be your in-house mentor for this ignition program. So each of us has a different expertise, and Smita is the one who allocates us. She is the first point of contact, and then after her first meeting with you, she will allocate. She herself is a pharmaceutical chemistry PhD, so if it falls in her domain, she will take that ahead. For the academics, we have something which is called as our incubation practice school program. So if you already have your IIE, IIC, IIC, right? So, right. So if you are thinking about having a full-fledged entrepreneur cell or incubator or whatever, please do look up the incubation practice school program. These are the details here. My colleague Shoma, who is head of our incubation and mentoring team also, she leads this program, and this program includes immersions, remote mentoring, training programs. We also have a lot of books and reference materials because we have learned the difficult way over the last 17 years, but we want to pass on the learnings to new incubators or entrepreneur cells from our particularly what has not worked that we want to pass on. We also do a lot of city camps under this program and learning and exposure visits are done. We also additionally have something which is again for academic institutions, and this is a recent kind of offering, which our TechX vertical, which is the Technology Transfer Hub, the Technology Transfer Office, supported by the National Library Coalition, is offering. This is the Innovation Catalyst Program. So for academic institutions who want to catalyze the innovation process at their institutes, this is the program which is available as a sign up for the institutions. What we do under that are student workshops, faculty workshops, and focused mentoring clinics. These are some of the suggestive topics, but we are free to include any other topics which might be of relevance to you. Additionally, also beyond the Catalyst program, we also do separate student workshops where institutes sign up for say 25 to 30 students who are interested to explore entrepreneurship. We invite them on Venture Center campus where we have a session on nuts and bolts of creating startups, which covers essentials of science technology based entrepreneurship. How do you get started? How Venture Center can contribute? They get to interact with startup founders. So, for example, on we have done several of these. The one which is upcoming is on 20th of October. We have a batch of 30 students coming from Modern College, and they will, since they are from microbiology background, I will invite startup founders who are having innovations In the microbiology kind of domain, they will get to interact in person with the startup founder. And then there is a demonstration of two high-end techniques, the different facilities which you have. You can choose, your faculty will choose two techniques for you as students. And of course, you'll get a detailed tour of venture center. And there are e-certificates which will be available at the end of the program. The 2 days faculty workshop, which is part of the Innovation Catalyst program, these are the aspects. So this is only for faculty, not for students. We do this as a 2 days workshop on how to get started with industry project, writing good proposals for the industry, understanding sponsored project agreements, technology development and advancing it to the market via case studies, practical IP strategy for academics, technology marketing and transfer, mentoring and supporting startups, resourcing and funding new ventures or startups. And then case studies on models and examples of industry academia engagement. These are the indicative topics, and with discussion with the academics who are going to be part of the workshop, we are free to have a change of include relevant topics for you. There is of course a tour of guided tour of culture center and its faculty. So this is a 2 days kind of workshop which is only for faculty, and we prefer to do faculty groups from a particular institute. If you do not have those many faculty interested, maybe between IRSHA and Rajiv Gandhi Biotech Institute, you can tie up and send a group of say 10 to 15 faculty for this workshop. Then there are advisory clinics with mentors, and these are some of the uh, indicative topics. There are up to 6 hours of mentoring per quarter, and you have to sign up for the topics. Let us know what are your questions in advance, and accordingly we can designate a in-house mentor for mentoring you on that particular topic. So yeah, that was all from my. I know this was really exhaustive for all of you to listen for almost 1.5 hours. Yeah. So please do follow us. These are the in things. I'm not so much into that, but yes, social media is there. You can follow us. This Twitter and what. You can probably keep that last slide if possible. In case they want to follow us, tag us, और क्या क्या करते हैं वो सब कर सकते हैं, like and all that. So please do follow us. All our events, calls are publicized on social media quite a bit. We have active social media team who regularly posts a lot of things on. These are of course my coordinates. Anyone wants to reach out, please do feel to write to me or call me. Thank you. Questions?
So, like you talked about the social innovation program for at the idea level for the social public health projects. So, for biomedical research at the idea level. So, is this EIR program you are talking about where we have to reach out to?
Yeah, so see, both programs are relevant for ideation level. Social Innovation Immersion Program, that is a fellowship program, is for a particular theme at a time. So, for example, as I told you, our 5 cohorts, every cohort had a specific theme. Our first theme was on maternal and child health. These themes are given by the funding agency by that. So, probably biomedical research, if it has application in the maternal and child health domain, then that would be the one. So, every fall, it comes with a theme attached to it. So this time what we are supporting is agri. Next time we might get something else, but it is a socially relevant theme. So that is the little bit restrictive kind of fellowship. अगर आपका idea वो theme में fit हो रहा है, then that is the right fellowship for that particular idea. EIR, Entrepreneurship in Residence Program, is a sector agnostic. कुछ भी idea हो जाए, it is a scientific domain. So biomedical research हो या कुछ भी हो, it will fit in EIR anyways. So EIR is open, and again reminding the final years particularly, please do apply. Because SNA की पहले all these grants are competitive. Very few people get through in the first attempt. So please do get through. At least you will get reviewers' comments. You will get inputs during your mentoring session. So next time you can improve. So please do apply for whatever call is open. That is EIR currently.
Right childhood is the key for EIR?
No, it's sector agnostic, no theme. It has to be a scientific idea. That's the only requirement.
Thank you very much. I think I very well.
I think people are hungry. Right?
Yeah.
So quiet.
But you have kind of really covered it. Like initially when you said that there's no group fellowship, and I wanted to ask you, can you brief? But then in the slides you have covered it for the students, whatever fellowships are.
Fellowships are the right stage for them right now. But all these, remember, all these fellowships are full time. तो सबमिट करके अब अगर आपको मिल गया तो ठीक है because then you can come full time for the fellowship and it is see you're developing it right from the scratch. It's going to be your baby to take it ahead full time. It's not कि side by side करेंगे. ऐसा नहीं होता है startup. See, lot of people would support that I think that you are senior people there. It's a full time kind of thing.
The student clubs and all, they are with who are there or others can also. It's free.
Yes. So which one you're saying can join?
You had some like you mentioned that there are some student clubs that you have fellowship for students.
Yeah, yes. For student clubs or I mean, we can support the student. After student club, you need input. So three topics which I showed. One of the topics in that is how to set a student club. Okay, if you do not have one, or for that will be I think RGB, Rajiv Gandhi, Patek, they are already our strategic partners. I forgot to mention about strategic partnership. Sorry about that. But for academic institutions, under our TechX vertical, we have something which is called a strategic partnership. So we already have 30 strategic partners. And for the 30 strategic partners, there's an MOU, of course, which is a non-financial, non-binding kind of MOU. There's no finances involved in it. And basically, under that MOU, what we offer you is 30% discount on all the TechX services. TechX has a lot of IP and tech transfer related, tech commercialization, tech marketing kind of services. The strategic partners get a flat 30% discount. In addition to that, every first Friday, those mentoring topics were mentioned, but other than that, topics like setting up a student entrepreneurship club, setting up an IP cell, setting up a scientist entrepreneurship scheme in your institution. Mentoring is available for any of these topics. Every first Friday between 2 to 5 p.m. you can sign up for 1 hour. So as soon as you sign that MOU with us, our team will handhold you through the MOU deliverables also. Plus, they will help you to sign up for the right kind of mentoring clinics. So you can, the institute can think about a strategic partnership. You can talk to actually Shamim ma'am. So she has signed the MOU with us already.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nidhi. We will now break for lunch. So we will come back in 45 minutes. But one more announcement that after the lunch, we have a group photograph at the entrance of the institute. So all of us can be attended. Do you want it before lunch? Do you want it immediately right now? Is it okay? Yes. Okay.
After lunch, probably people.
Okay. Great. So we'll gather at the entrance for the group photograph.
Sure. पहिल्यांदा या लोकांचा घ्यायचा फक्त आपल्या ऑफिसच्या समोर आणि बाकी सगळ्या स्टेट मी आलोच लंच टाइम
पर ये स्टैंडिंग चाहिए थे
एक स्टँडिंग है गौरी गौरी ते पण घेऊया का स्टँड दोन स्टँडिंग घेऊया वेगळं स्टँडिंग so he can come in now. This also can.
Mr.
Speakers, Mr. Sir, Higbe Sir, seniors. That couple of photos, then stairs for सगळे उभे करून you will have complete shuffle. नाही ते याची चांगलं समज हां सर इथे आणि लॅपटॉपवरती गोष्टी पेपर घेऊन जायचे बाहेर दोन्ही लावायचं शेजारी
मी बघत होतो आज बघत होतो
काय
नाही प्रॉब्लेम आवा शिकून मागे काय कोणती
जेवणी नाही चालेल जेवण नाही तरी चालेल आहे
Dependent experience. 40 झाले का? अरे 75 वगैरे क्रॉस केलं. मग 75. येस. मध्ये मध्ये ते आयडी टेस्ट काय असतं? सर कधी करताय आपण ह्याच्यासोबत हा फीडबॅक फॉर्म अटेंडन्स शीट सोबत
live stream, they do that.
So